Take the exit. Turn right into the drive-thru.
Nope, I'm making dinner tonight.
You don't have time. Josh has practice.
Oh, that's right. I'll just get a salad.
And fries?
No, just the salad.
But salad cancels fries.
Salad only.
Fries.
Salad.
Fries.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on the road to successful weight loss.
Hey, can I get the...
Fries.
Salad. Sorry.
Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. For too long, women's serious midlife health issues have been trivialized, ignored, and met with a just deal with it attitude. Many of us have been made to feel ashamed or forgotten. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But here's the powerful truth. It's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic, founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. What sets MIDI apart? We are the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance companies, making high-quality expert care accessible and affordable. Our clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. We offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions, from hormonal therapies and weight loss protocols to lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. This isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will join our patients who feel seen, heard, and prioritized. You will find that our mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the health care they deserve. Because we believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
His name was Samuel Dwayne. We call him Sammy. The biggest thing that I remember about him was just the fact of how tiny he was. That was something that, I was expecting it, but not expecting it, because I knew he wasn't fully formed, but he was so tiny.
Welcome to Still a Part of Us, a place where moms and dads share the story of their child who was stillborn or who died in infancy. I'm Winter.
And I'm Lee. We are grateful you joined us today. Please note that this is a story of loss and has triggers.
Thanks to our lost parents who are willing to be vulnerable and share their children with us.
If you're listening to this podcast, just know that on our YouTube channel there are pictures and videos that are related to the stories that are being shared.
Subscribe and share it with a friend that might need it, and tell them to subscribe. Why? Because people need to know that even though our babies are no longer with us, they're still a part of us. Welcome to Still a Part of Us. We are just delighted to have Brittiny on today. She reached out to us and really wanted to make sure that she was able to tell the story of her son, Sammy. So, Brittiny, thank you so much for being willing to share his story with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me share it.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you and where are you located in the country? And then also like what your family looks like right now.
Yeah. My name is Brittany. I live in central upstate New York, whichever you like to locate it at. It's kind of interesting. And I have a family of me and my husband and our living son, who is 2, Leroy. We just hang out here at the house. We have a dog, 2 cats, a bunch of fish, typical little family here.
I was about to say the whole gamut, it sounds like. And what do you guys like to do in your spare time and as a family?
One of our latest things is we've been collecting Pokemon cards a lot lately.
Yes.
Between my son, I mean, he doesn't really understand them yet, but they come with coins and the bigger jumbo cards. And he says, "Oh, those are my cards." And it's something my husband likes to do. So he's kind of getting him into it. So it's a nice little family thing.
That's
and
adorable.
Then we also try to go, if there's like little events here and there, like painting or whatever around the town or cities around us, we always try to go do something to get Leroy out of the house, and keep us busy.
Yeah, totally. That's great. I think that's so fun and so cute because, yes, Pokemon cards are a thing in our house, too.
Yeah.
And they can get to be a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole new craze with it right now.
Yep. And I am wondering, are you guys both from New York? Is that from that area, or are his family nearby?
His family is about an hour and a half, 2 hours from me.
Okay.
We kind of found each other on an online dating app, and it was the funniest thing in the world. We just saw that he had Harry Potter in his bio, and I was like, that's going to be my husband, and here he is.
You know what? Harry Potter's brought many people together, so that is awesome. And how long have you guys been married?
We've been married for going on 3 years now, and we've been together for going on 8.
Awesome. That is wonderful. And and then at the time of this recording, how long ago was Sammy born? Just so that we have a frame of reference.
Yeah, he was born in April of 2025, so about 9 months ago, almost 10.
Yeah. So it has not been very long at all. And that's another thing that is so, I think, amazing that you're here, because a lot of people don't feel comfortable to share this early on. I feel like it's very early on. So, so thank you again. Okay. So then tell us then, it sounds like you had Leroy first, right?
Yes.
And were you guys wanting to have a family? Was that always in the cards?
Leroy was more of a surprise.
Okay.
We wanted to, but we were like, maybe not quite yet, because we had just gotten married.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, oh, I guess he's a surprise. And then with Sammy, we planned, but we thought it would be a while, because it did take us a little bit with Leroy.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be a while, and then surprise, it didn't take us long at all.
Really?
I was doing the ovulation tests in the morning, checking, and I was just random check of the ovulation test and said, you know what, I'm going to check a pregnancy test too, just for giggles. And what do you know? It came back positive. I was like, oh, way. Okay. It's like, I bet you can hear me on the baby monitor screaming right now, because my son's room is right next to the bathroom.
That is hilarious. Oh, and kind of cool. So what did you tell your husband about it, or did he come in and like, what's going on?
So he didn't hear me on the baby monitor, which was surprising to me. I went into the bedroom and I'm like, honey, you won't believe this. And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm pregnant. He says, you woke me up for this? I'm like, yeah, I woke you up for this. I'm surprised you didn't hear me on the baby monitor. I'm surprised I didn't wake up Leroy, because I was like freaking out, because I was not expecting it to happen that quick.
Yeah. But were you excited, or was that more just like, oh no?
No, I was very excited. Because it's something that we wanted. He was happy once he woke up a little bit more. He was like, okay, we're doing this. Okay.
And Leroy is probably like what, just a year old at this time, right?
Yeah, he was about a year and a half.
Okay.
So I was like trying to potty train him before we had another one, because I was like, I don't want 2 in diapers.
Nope. That was no fun. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, and then so you told your husband, he finally woke up and acknowledged what was happening.
Like, wow, okay, it registered now.
Okay, awesome. And then did you tell family members or anything, or were you kind of holding off on telling people?
I waited to tell my mom, and because my parents actually live right next door to us, so it's kind of hard for me to keep a secret from them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I waited to tell a little bit, but the first person that actually knew was my best friend, because I called her when I was in shock before I even left the bathroom. I was FaceTiming her, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. I was like freaking out. I'm like, do I tell Nick now, or do I find out a like nice surprise way to do it? And I'm like, no, I can't keep a secret for anything.
Yeah, I got to tell him. That is
I'm
so cool.
Certified yapper.
Love it. Okay, and then so typically it seems like people will wait, or the doctor's office will have you wait till about 9-ish weeks to come in. Did you end up going in sooner? Looks like.
Yep, I ended up going in sooner because we didn't know, because had gotten off birth control before getting pregnant for him, and I just didn't have a menstrual period, so we didn't know exactly for dating. We're like, you could be anywhere from 12 weeks to 4 weeks.
Gotcha.
Because I had actually had a CT scan a couple weeks prior because I was having some abdominal pain.
Yeah.
And they didn't see anything like a fetus in there at all. So they're like, I don't know how far along you could be. So they wanted to go in and do an ultrasound early just to check and make sure and be like, okay, how far along are you?
Gotcha.
So I went in and was confirmed at 5 weeks to be 5 weeks pregnant.
Okay. So that was a little bit farther than I'm assuming you're expecting. So,
yeah.
Okay. So then, and that was just a regular little ultrasound that they do.
Yep. They just did a little ultrasound. That's where they did see a little something when they were doing it, where his first little complication kind of come into hand.
What was that they saw?
They saw a dark spot that looked like it could have been a hematoma.
Okay.
So then they scheduled another ultrasound to confirm what it was at 8 weeks because they wanted to see what it was. And they had me take another HCG test for blood to make sure that my levels were rising the way they should. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was good, which was good because it scared me. When I got the call at work, they're like, we saw this in your ultrasound. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the next ultrasound, the hematoma, they did confirm, was a subchorionic hematoma, which was like a bleed between the placenta and the abdominal, like uterine wall. And they said that it actually had shrank since the previous ultrasound. So they were pretty positive it was going to go away.
It was just going to go away. Yeah. That's
so
a pretty common thing. Yeah.
I won't breathe. I'll breathe. It's fine.
Yeah. But still, like, concerning if you've only had one pregnancy before, and maybe Leroy's pregnancy was fine. Like, everything was good.
We didn't have any complications with Leroy until later on. So I wasn't expecting anything in the beginning.
Gotcha. Okay, so then at 5 weeks and then at 8 weeks, and everything was looking okay at that point in time.
Yeah, the hematoma had gotten smaller. We did our regular 12 weeks, or no, it was 10 weeks when we did the next one, and the hematoma was proven to be gone.
Okay.
At the 10 weeks. So I was like, yay, we're in the free zone. We're good. You know? Nothing to worry about here, right?
Yep, exactly. That's what you think when you're like, we're okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay, and how are you feeling at this time? This is the first trimester. How are you feeling physically as being pregnant?
Physically, I wasn't that bad. I didn't really have any morning sickness or anything. Okay. With my first pregnancy, I didn't get it until the end of the second trimester and then the whole entire third trimester.
Oh, that's
which made
rude.
No sense.
So rude.
I know. And then I figured, well, that's probably what's going to happen with Sammy. It'll be the same thing, you know?
Okay. Yeah, it's on par for course. Okay, and then did you end up, I know that some people get the genetic testing done in that first trimester just to make sure, and then also to see if you can find out the gender. Is that something you guys ended up doing or not?
We did with Sammy. We didn't with Leroy because I was like, it could be too much money. I don't feel the need to do it because I don't think there's going to be anything genetically to worry about.
Okay.
But then with Sammy, I was just too anxious to find out what his gender was. To be honest, I was like, I need to know. Yeah. Because I already have one boy. I need to know if I'm having another one or if I'm having a girl.
Right.
So we did it. The first NIPT actually came back as low fetal DNA. So I didn't get an actual answer.
Oh.
Which made me even more anxious because I was like, okay, we just got over this hematoma loop. What are we going to do now?
Yes. Okay.
And then at the 12-week ultrasound where they measure the neck and the spinal thing, they couldn't measure his because he was sitting just right where they couldn't measure him. And I'm like, okay, so we did the NIPT and that didn't come back. His neck measurements didn't come back. What else is happening here?
Oh, yeah. You're like, this.
So we had to repeat the NIPT.
Okay, you did. And was that like it closer to 12, like a little farther along then?
Yep. The NIPT repeat was done at like 13, 14 weeks.
Perfect.
And they said there should be a lot more DNA then because they said I was overweight at the time. I still am, but I was even more overweight. And so they said that could impact the amount of DNA that shows up in the NIPT. So it's like, okay, that's something new. Yeah. If I wish I had known that in the beginning, because I would have just thrown it out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then
we did that, and he came back a boy, and we had the NIPT come back completely normal.
Wonderful. Okay, so then did you guys just open up the results, or did they, when they called you and told you how things looked, was there any
I was checking my portal for that every morning. I get up to go to work at 5 in the morning.
Refresh.
As soon as I did. Yep. And I looked at my husband, and I was hoping for a girl. I kept calling the baby a girl, and he said, well, our last name only makes boys. So that's what you're going to have. And I looked at it and I said, I'm so mad. I looked at him, I said, I'm so mad. He says, it's a boy. I said, yeah. So I'm happy, but I'm mad.
Exactly. I was going to say, do you guys have, so really, is on his side of the family, are there tons of boys?
Yeah. The only one that has a girl is his half brother, but like his extended cousins and uncles and all boys. Huh. So they just assume that they only make boys, other than the one fluke that happened.
That is so funny. Okay, well, you were pregnant with a boy.
Yep. And so far we're going on with that streak.
Yeah. Okay, then so you were doing okay. Everything looks good on the scan, at least that early anyway. So
yeah.
And still feeling good?
Yeah, I felt great. I mean, I had just some cramps, but that's about normal for the uterus, getting bigger as the pregnancy goes along. I didn't really have any actual pregnancy symptoms, which I normally, if it was like a first pregnancy, I would be worried. But because of the pregnancy with Leroy, I was like, I didn't have any symptoms with him until later on either. So I'm not that concerned.
Yeah. It was a par for a course on where you were at. So, and then how often were you checking in with the doctor? Probably just once a month, right? At the beginning, I believe. So
I was already labeled high risk right off the bat because I was high risk with my previous pregnancy.
Gotcha.
I apologize. The cat just knocked her phone.
That happens too.
But I was high risk because with my previous pregnancy, I had preeclampsia at the end, and then I had gestational diabetes, and Leroy had intrauterine growth restriction.
Okay, so
they were watching out for everything right off the bat.
Okay. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to go into. Okay, so they are monitoring you a bit.
They were monitoring pretty good. We went like every 2 weeks just to, check in. How are you feeling? Okay. Like measuring the stomach once you got to the point where you could do that.
Yep.
And they did another ultrasound at the 12-week mark. And then I did one at 15 because I was in the emergency room actually because I started getting swelling on my legs. Oh. And they wanted to make sure there wasn't a blood clot or the preeclampsia starting early, So they're like, okay, so we're going to just send you just to get an ultrasound on your legs. Not a big deal. And they're like, we're going to check the baby while you're in there. And at this point, my family knows I have a baby. They just don't know the gender because I'm not telling anybody. But then I start freaking out because my mom, they couldn't find him on the Doppler. But the Doppler, they couldn't find Leroy on the Doppler either, so I wasn't concerned about it, but I was a little nervous. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I just need to know he's okay. And Mom looks at me and goes, he? I'm like, yeah, he. It's not important right now.
It's out there now, I guess. Yeah, this is more important. I need to make sure I don't have a clot, and then he's fine. Yes.
Yeah. And then they actually did have trouble finding him on that ultrasound that they brought into the room because they said it was something with shadows. And then they sent it to the maternal fetal medicine perinatal saying if it's clinically necessary, you should do another ultrasound order just to check on things. And then they just never ordered that ultrasound.
So that was 15 weeks when you had the kind of the swelling of the legs. You didn't have any clots or anything?
No, that was proven to be wrong. It was just normal, like legs starting to get swelling from entering second trimester, I guess.
Yeah, but still, I'm like, ugh. Okay, but everything, like no protein in the urine, no high blood pressure.
Already passed my gestational diabetes test at this point too, because they did it early because they were worried, and I was
just keeping an eye on things.
Yep.
Okay, but you guys you weren't able to really see him / pick up.
They just found his heartbeat and confirmed that it was there. And then they said they sent the message on to perinatal to see about ordering another ultrasound if they thought it was clinically appropriate for my case. And I was like, okay. And I just kind of waited, and they didn't order another one, which did concern me. They originally, because of the failed NIPT and the failed measurement, wanted to do the dating ultrasound early at 18 weeks anyways.
Yes, okay.
And then once the second NIPT came, they're like, oh, we're just going to cancel it because it came back through. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then after Sammy passed, the perinatal says to me, if only we had actually done that ultrasound, it would have been possible. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
What? Ah.
It was everywhere.
Okay. So 15 weeks. There was not really any total follow-up, at least on Sammy.
Yeah.
They checked you out and you're going along. So you guys didn't do the 18-week scan. You ended up scheduling the anatomy scan for 20 weeks then?
That was the plan. It was scheduled in the plan, but at 18 and 1 day, Sammy decided to change his whole aspect, and that was the day that he was born.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So tell us how that unfolded.
It was a huge thing. So it was a normal day here at my house. We were playing with Leroy. It was April, so it was warm outside for us. And I had just come down from taking a shower because I was like, okay, I need a shower. You know, I'm pregnant and feel gross.
Yeah.
And my husband's standing in the doorway of the dining room playing with Leroy. And I'm just standing there. I'm like, my water just broke. I felt my water break. Like it felt like, and like I know I didn't pee because I peed before my shower like a normal person. So I'm like, I know that's not pee. And my husband says that's impossible. I'm like, well, it has to be some kind of possible because I just felt it. My pants are wet. My underwear is wet. I'm wet. There's something just happened. My water just broke. And my mom and I and my grandma, we all have this thing where we SOS call each other so they know it's an emergency. We'll call, hang up, and then the third time do it again. So we know it's an emergency.
Oh.
And my mom, I SOS'd my mom. She's a nurse. So I'm like, Mom, I think my water just broke and I'm freaking out. And she came over and she's like, honey, what's been going on? I did have cramps earlier that day, but I figured it felt almost like menstrual cramps. So I'm like, maybe it's just the uterus doing its thing, growing. Because at this point, we were in the second trimester. It happens. Yep. I didn't think anything of it because I felt him moving that morning when Leroy was laying on me. He was moving along his brother. So I was like, okay, nothing's wrong. But then the water broke and I called the on-call, and on-call said they'd give me a call back. And they were taking too long. And I just made the executive decision. We're going to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And by the time that they called me back, we were already halfway to the emergency room. And I said, yeah, I'm going. Do I go to labor and delivery or do I go to emergency? They said, you need to go to emergency because you're under 20 weeks. I said, okay. We get to emergency, and then emergency is fighting back and forth with labor and delivery saying, no, we don't take her. You take her. I'm like, I don't care who takes me, but somebody's got to because I'm having these pains and my water broke, I'm pretty sure. I go up, they send me to labor and delivery upstairs. I'm in a triage room, and this is where all the neglect and everything starts to happen. They tell me I'm in the triage room. It is 6:25 in the afternoon. And they tell me, okay, we're going to wait. The provider wants to wait and let you lay there to see if any fluids pool up so he can test them, and then he'll do the pelvic exam. I'm like, okay. They said we're going to wait until 7:15. I'm like, it's 6:25 now, 7:15 then. That's 45 minutes from now.
That is so surprising. This is so
I know.
Weird. Because usually you can get a quick word swab.
At least a check, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm laying there and I told them I'm having these pains, you know, and they put on the whole gear and they don't see any contractions, which they didn't see contractions with Leroy at all with any of that.
Oh.
Because when I went into labor with him, they didn't check me until I was 8.5 centimeters dilated because they didn't see contractions. Oh.
What?
Yeah. All the same company too that runs both of the hospitals I've delivered at. So it's kind of nuts.
Okay, so they did put you. Okay, so what did they strap on you again? Did they
just
put on
the one that would measure like heart tones and
for him? Okay,
and yeah,
okay,
and basically the NST type style.
Okay,
they did that.
Okay,
and they didn't see anything wrong. They found his heart. Of course, my husband had to push on it to get it just right to be able to pick it up.
Yeah,
because with the Doppler, we can't pick him up either.
Yeah,
it doesn't work right.
They're really kind of finicky sometimes, honestly. So
they really can be.
Okay,
but so they just kind of left me there, and then at 7:15 he comes in and he does a pelvic exam. He says, "I don't see baby, so that's good." I'm like, okay, so it made me feel a little bit more confident. He says, your cervix is closed. I'm like, okay, I feel better at this point. And he did a bedside ultrasound, and he says, well, I see movement in two different places. So I want to go ahead and call radiology because I don't trust this.
Wait, what does it mean? I see movement in two different
Exactly.
places?
I didn't know what he meant by that. He just said, I think I see movement in two different places. I don't trust this ultrasound. I'm going to call radiology. Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
It was, but they they did the scrape to test like the insides to see if it was testing positive for a broken amniotic,
Yes,
all
amniotic
that
fluid.
stuff.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And the whole time while I'm waiting for radiology, because they had to call somebody in, nobody was there.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for them, I get the MyCare, the portal thing saying, yes, it tested positive for broken amniotic fluid. Before anyone told me, as far as a provider, nobody came in and talked to me. So she comes in to check on me and give me water. I said, just so you know you guys don't get these results as fast as we do sometimes. This happened. And she's like, okay, I'll go let the provider know. I need you to do a urine sample for me too. So I go to the bathroom and I do the urine sample. I figure that's a pretty normal thing too, while I'm inside kind of freaking out in my head, trying to run through what's the plan going to be, because he's only 18 weeks in one day. What do I do?
Yeah.
And then they, so I do the urine sample and I come out from the bathroom, my mucus plug had fallen out. And I looked at the nurse because I didn't know exactly what it was. So I showed her, because this is only my second pregnancy. I really don't know what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard to.
So I showed her what it was on the tissue, and she says, oh, that's just from him doing the pelvic exam. Let me just go talk to him. And I'm like, okay. So, and I'm not even in like a hospital gown or anything. I'm in my regular clothes. I go back to the bed in the triage room, and I'm just waiting still. No answers, no nothing. Anytime someone came in the room, I said, I'm having these pains. They're coming and going. They're in my abdomen, my pelvis. I said, I don't know what's going on. I told them I wanted to be moved to a hospital in the bigger city because they might be able to save my son. Whereas this smaller hospital wouldn't try to save him at the gestational age he was.
Yeah.
They told me that other hospital probably wouldn't either. And I said, well, I want to try. I don't care. I was trying to wrap my head around everything and at the same time stay calm, but not stay calm because it was impossible.
Yeah.
Radiology didn't take us for an ultrasound until 8:45 at night. So
2 hours later.
2 hours later.
About, right? Okay.
Yep. And they wouldn't tell me anything in there. Of course, the radiologist can't. So I understand. She just looked, and I was kind of joking with her. And I said, well, I'm having these pains currently while I'm on the table. And I was like, well, my first son, I saw you for that one, and he was difficult. This one is difficulties too. Just trying to laugh it off.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, were you able to see the screen of the ultrasound at that time?
She wouldn't show me.
Okay.
She purposely moved it away from me, actually. And that was kind of another notion to me, as much as I didn't want it to be. And my husband was with me, thankfully. But we went back upstairs to labor and delivery, still in the triage room. And I'm just waiting, no answers. They said they needed to send the results to the perinatal MFM, which is in the bigger city. And then they would come back to me. And I was like, okay. And I told the one nurse when she come in, because I was like, what's going on? Because I kept hitting my call bell. She says they had to send it to the perinatal. I said, well, I'm having these pains. I think I'm having contractions. And she said, honey, you probably are. And she looked like she was going to cry. And I was like, this is it. That's where it kind of like settled with me, because as a nurse, I know she couldn't tell me either. It had to be the provider. And
yes,
in my whole story, I believe the provider was the one that was just neglecting because he didn't want to have a conversation.
He didn't want to have that difficult conversation. Yeah, because I was going to say the nurse is probably like, I can't tell you stuff because that's not my scope of practice. And so like so
it was terrible. But then he so around 9, because he was born at like 9:15ish, so probably like 9:10ish, I had a gush of blood, just a gush of blood, and I didn't know what it was. I just felt, I'm like, honey, I think I leaked more fluid, or I peed myself, something just happened. And he looked and he says, no, no. And he helped me take my pants off. I was wearing jeans at the time still in the triage room.
They hadn't, what?
No, he had me pull my pants back up after the pelvic exam and everything. It was nuts. And then he left the room to go get a nurse. And as soon as he left, I hit that call bell and I said, I feel something coming out of me. And my son was born when I was in the room by myself while he went to get a nurse.
What?
Yeah.
So
it was crazy.
So you birthed him.
Mm-hmm.
And did you realize that you had birthed him?
I felt him, I don't know, escape.
Yeah.
I felt it, and I had told him I feel something coming out of me on the call bell, and I heard a nurse run in here, and I said, was that him? Is he okay? And the nurse looked at me and she says, honey, I think he's gone. And I started screaming, no auditory understanding. I was just screaming because I this whole time had no notion he was even gone. I thought he was still alive, and it just ripped. I felt like a piece of me just kind of was gone. It left the room,
Yeah.
My husband says, can I call my mom? And I'm like, can I call my mom? We neither of us knew how to handle it. We didn't know what to do. So he stepped aside to the hallway and called his mom. I called my mom, and it was just a mess. Neither one of us knew what to do because we were expecting him to be alive. We didn't know he was gone.
Okay. So, I just want to make sure that I cover all of the things.
Yeah.
So then,
sorry, that was a lot.
No, I just want to make sure that I'm did they cut the umbilical cord? I mean, did they?
It happened so fast. I believe they did cut the umbilical cord. They set him, I have the blanket with me over here, actually. It's a little towel. They set him in a towel and they put him on the little table that they had all their little instruments and everything that they would normally, for normal deliveries, have. They set him there and they asked if I wanted to see him. And at first I didn't know because I was just in that shock. I'm like, I don't know. Not right now. I will, but not right now. Okay. I just wanted to kind of breathe, process. My husband, he tells me that when he walked in the room, he won't even tell me what he saw because he doesn't want to traumatize me even more. Oh. I'm like, okay. It was just it was crazy. Absolutely nuts. It would have been, not that you can really prepare for a birth like this, but it would have been nice to know before he was born that he was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then, I think we're going to get into this a little bit later, but I will ask about, I want to know about maybe if they knew things before, because it sounds like they did, and just were not willing to tell you. Is that right?
He came into the room after he was born because he had to do his examination, and help birth the placenta.
Yes.
And he comes in and he says, I knew there was no heartbeat at the bedside ultrasound. And I was just like, what? And in the moment, I didn't have it in my wits or anything to really go after him, be like, what were you thinking? Why didn't you tell me or anything? I didn't have that strength. But looking back, I'm like, why wouldn't he just tell me, or at least tell me, okay, honey, we don't see anything, but we want to double check. Something like that along the lines, just to kind of give me some kind of an idea.
Not too, the fact that he said, I see two
movements. Yeah.
I was like, that makes it sound like he's doing okay and he's kicking and going crazy.
It was insane. And then even as far as the neglect keeps going, he put days later, and I'm sure a lot of moms or parents listening, they probably read through their clinical notes too.
Yep.
Just because you want to know what happened, if you missed anything. And I was reading through the clinical notes and he lied on his clinical notes. He told on his clinical notes, he put that he had a conversation with me about Sammy passing away and that he was going to induce labor, but I spontaneously went into labor before they could insert something or other. I don't even know what it was called because I had never heard of it in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what kind of broke my heart even more.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm like, my son deserves a better like legacy than that, to be like lied about. Like, he was gone. Just be honest with me that he was gone.
Yeah.
Put in my chart that he was gone. You made a mistake. That's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. The best doctors that have been around for 50 years or so make mistakes.
You will make mistakes. So
don't lie to me. Like, if you knew my son was gone, just tell me. And don't try to cover your own butt with it either, because everybody learns from mistakes. And that's where it comes from. You know, you got to learn from your mistakes too. And I think I did feel him moving that morning. So in my heart, I feel like he would have still been here if they didn't take all that waiting time, because they didn't even try to stop labor. And in the clinical notes, he tried putting that I was 1 centimeter dilated already when he told me my cervix was closed when he did the exam.
Yeah. Or was that something that he didn't say about to you either? Does that make sense?
Right. It's like everywhere. Like, I don't know what to believe. All I know is what my heart believes and what my body went through.
Yeah. Gosh, I am sorry. That is not awesome. That is...
No.
I was like, it's so gaslighty. I was like, come on.
It was very gaslighty. And I ultimately decided, if we do have any more children, because of the 2 very traumatic births that we had, I will not go to that same type hospital again.
Yeah.
I would rather birth at home if possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are things that you, yes, things changed depending on some of the experiences you have, for sure. Okay, so then you birthed the placenta, okay? Was there any issue with that?
He said it came out all at once. They were talking about possibly doing a D&C because they wanted to make sure everything was good. But it all came out at once.
Okay.
And that's when he told me, and I don't know if it's true or not, because, again, with all the falsifying, I don't know. But he told me that there was a lot of blood clots on the placenta, so he believes it was a placental abruption.
Oh.
That would be caused by the hematoma coming back.
That was okay. Well, and I was going to say that kind of tracks with at least the gush of blood.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, me and like a lot of lost mothers, we do a lot of Googling to figure out what happened, to try to come out with some kind of a reason why. And I did see that the lack of fluids can be what causes placental abruption. So it's in my heart, because the hematoma was gone the last time that they looked. It was completely gone. I don't know if it would come back in 2 weeks, if there would be a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm not clinical. I'm clerical with my work, but I do, in my heart, believe that if labor was at least attempted to stop when I got there, he might still be here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just... that is frustrating. So Sammy is over at the little table, the exam table, I guess it's what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you decide to see him?
Yeah, I wanted to hold him. I asked my husband, I said, do you want to see him? Do you want to hold him? He says, I can't hold him. I'll look, but I can't hold him. And I'm like, okay, that's your comfortability. I understand. I was trying to be, it's hard in the moment to understand feelings of your partner as well as yourself, because it's just all overwhelming. But I know him, I've never seen him cry the way he did. I've never seen him break the way that he did. And that broke me more than anything too, just seeing him like that.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of, okay, I know your comfortability. You can look at him if you want while I'm holding him. If you don't want to hold him, I understand too. It's you. And I took 6 hours holding him because I didn't know what else to do at that point. They told me, because I said, how long do I have with him? Just wondering. And they said, well, you have as long as you want, because this is all you have with him. And that kind of stung, just hit me right here, and was like, that hit deep. It was very heavy, and it was very truthful. So I took those 6 hours, and of course his body is changing as the 6 hours are coming. He's drying a little bit,
Yeah.
And it was different. I mean, his head, he was a fully formed, like he was a baby. He had arms, toes, nails, a nose, ears, eyes, everything. And but his head, it was different because his head is still soft.
Yes.
I called him my cute little alien baby at the moment because that's what it reminded me of, you know?
Yeah.
And I even looked at my husband and I didn't know really how to like laugh about it a little bit, but I'm like, look, he's obviously a boy. I'm like, at least we know that. Just trying to make light where we could.
Yeah, because it is so heavy and so, like, if you think about your quote unquote, right, your water broke at like in the late afternoon, correct?
Yeah, like 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
because it was like 6:15 when we got to the
yeah.
ED.
So you between that time till when you gave birth, that was three-ish hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be shocked that way, like it's
a lot just hitting you
exactly
really quick.
Once. And so you're trying to cope and humor, and like that's kind of what people do sometimes. Is you're trying to find some way to open the release valve for just a second sometimes. So
yeah, and that's what we did. We just, and he kind of ended up sleeping because that was his way of coping. He was just like wanted to be alone over in the corner. I'm like, okay, that's your way of doing what you need to do. I just kind of sat there and held him, and he fit perfectly in my hand.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He was 11 inches long.
Oh, so he was tall. That's long. For 18 weeks, I feel like that's long. Isn't that long?
His card said 11 inches and 1 ounce and 500 grams, or 1 pound and 500 grams.
Yeah.
So he was a big baby. So
he was
like, well, there's that blessing.
Yeah. And then I actually am wondering how you guys, or when you guys decided to name him Samuel.
Yeah. So during the pregnancy, we decided we were going to start rewatching Supernatural for fun.
Oh,
and
yeah.
My husband kept running around saying, Sammy. And then also my grandfather, my first son is named after my paternal grandfather. And my Sammy was also born and named after my maternal grandfather. My maternal grandfather's name was Samuel.
That is awesome.
So we kind of kept it in there because Leroy also has Nick's maternal grandfather's middle name, and Sammy was going to have the same, like a middle name from Nick's side of the family as well. And we kind of kept it in with Nick joking around, yelling Sammy all the time, and then also keeping it tied with the family.
That is cool. I love family names. That's so great.
We didn't tell anyone his name until he was born. And we kind of think of it from a sign from Samuel and my grandfather. Actually, that day, Nick just randomly, he was going through the garage for no reason, and a picture of my grandfather fell out of a bag at him, and he said he thinks that was my grandfather's way of saying that he's got him. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense, and just a lighthearted kind of freaky way to think about it.
No. I love those. Like, I think people say little messages from heaven, or I like those kind of things where it's like, yep.
It's kind of perfect.
That's cool. Like family names are awesome. Yeah, because it feels like you're tied to your family. In heaven too. Okay, so then you held him for 6 hours. Did you take pictures? Did you do anything? Did they try and do little footprints for him? Because he's just a little
so tiny. I took a lot of pictures, and I had my husband take pictures of me holding him. Okay. Because I said, this is all I'm going to have. Yeah. I want to have it all. You know, I haven't shared actual pictures of his face or body or anything, just his hand, because I don't know how people will take it. Yes. Just like a lot of people after the fact don't know how to even talk to you. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know how people will take pictures of him at this gestation. So I just kept him for myself, other than like his little hand, just to kind of put into perspective to people. Because I was honestly just kind of tired of hearing people say, well, you didn't get to hold him, but you'll hold him in your heart. And I'm like, no, I held him.
I held him in my hand, in fact.
I held him. He was actually a human, you know. So I did share his hand on my finger, and they did take him to weigh him and measure him. And I said, can I get footprints, handprints, anything that you can do? And she said, honey, I tried to get the footprints, but I couldn't. And it was just this little smear on his card. But I have pictures of his feet, like very detailed pictures I took. So I do have that I can have in my memory too. And we got matching tattoos with not his footprint, but a footprint.
Oh, that is great.
It's kind of hard to show on the camera, but we got matching tattoos.
So if you're listening on podcast, Brittany just showed us her arm, and she's got this kind of, it looks like a sort of a sleeve, half of the sleeve. And, there, look at that. And it's beautiful. It has some wings and a footprint. And what does it say on there?
It says too beautiful for this earth.
Yeah.
Which is something that was said in a book that was given to us in his memorial box at the hospital. And it's something that really helped make me feel comfort for this.
Yeah. So after about 6 hours, so that puts you basically into the middle of the night.
Middle of the night, early morning.
Exactly.
It was like
3
1 or 2 in the morning or 3. Yeah, something like that. I don't even know exactly what time. When I was debating, I'm like, do I hit the call bell and tell him to take him? What do I do?
Yeah.
But then they had told me like an hour or 2 before, like I kept holding on to him for a reason, because they told me they were going to put him in the lab in the refrigerator because they couldn't separate him from the placenta, because I wanted to have testing on the placenta.
Oh, good.
And I said,
okay.
My son does not belong in with the specimens. He's not a specimen. He deserves the respect of going to the crematorium. Yeah. And that was something I stood firm with. And I wouldn't let him go until they told me and promised me that he was going to the crematorium where he deserved to be, the morgue.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to, so they did approach you also kind of probably shortly after about what you wanted to do with
it all kind of happened at once, and I was like, trying to gather it all. They were asking me, like, after I delivered the placenta, okay, what are you doing? I was filling out different papers, and I was like, we are going to cremate him. I would like to cremate him. I don't want to do any testing on him personally, because I don't feel a need to do that. I don't want to put his little body through anything more than it already has been. Yeah. But test the placenta. Do all the testing on the placenta and the testing on me that you want to do, because I do want an answer of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially since the doctor had mentioned some things about clots or whatever on the placenta, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So then you held him, and then did you end up calling the nurse and asking?
At some point, I had hit the call button. I said, I think I'm ready to say goodbye. Which was not an easy thing at all. No. But at that point, I also was like, he's drying a little bit. And I didn't know, like, any protocol or anything, or what do they do with babies at this point. So I was like, okay, I'm ready to say goodbye, just so he could go be in the morgue where he'd be preserved until the funeral home could get him, Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's the time to do it. And they didn't know that I took the little towel he was laying on, but I kept it with me anyway. I'm like, they don't need to know. It's mine. It's got my DNA on it, so I'm keeping it. Yep. It was his. He was on it, so that's mine now. I don't care.
Yeah. And yes, giving up your baby is like the worst thing ever.
It's tough because I had to come to the fact of, I'm not going to see him again. This is the last time I'm going to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was your husband awake for that when you said goodbye?
I woke him up and I said, are you ready for us to go? We'll let him go. And he said it was okay. A couple of days down the road, he says, I do kind of wish I did hold him. And I said, don't harp on yourself for it. Don't dwell on it. You got to see him.
Yep.
And that's what you needed to see in that moment. At that moment, you didn't need to hold him. It wasn't good for you. That was how you felt.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. You do the best you can in the making really impossible decisions. And So, can't fault anybody for how they react. It's just the reaction.
No, exactly. And there's no right or wrong way to react with this, because you don't know how to.
Yeah, it's like nobody's planning for this.
Nobody should ever have to.
Exactly. Nobody in their right mind is thinking about this. And so, okay, so then the next morning, I'm assuming you sleep because...
Yeah, I slept for maybe like an hour or two before they ended up coming in because they were still checking my vitals and doing all the things they have to do when they admit you. Because they said I could go home that night, and I said, no, I'm staying with my baby until the funeral director gets here. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And the social worker comes in and does her whole rigmarole about, oh, here's a support group that you can go to. Here's a packet of information. Yeah. And of course, they don't look at the packet of information that they give people because it has a whole thing about lactation classes in there. And I'm like, thanks for that. I don't need that.
Huh.
It was odd. I said, well, I do need to get set up with mental health again because I had been with mental health previously as a teenager. And I said, well, after this, I feel like I really need to.
Oh, yes.
So I need you guys to set up that appointment for me if you could, because there was a close by mental health facility that was in the same network. So they were doing that. And then they also set me up with my postpartum appointment, which was really weird. The OB nurse practitioner that works in my normal OB office was actually on the floor that day too. So she came up and talked to me and said, okay, this is what you're going to be expecting. Your body did give birth. Yep. So you are going to have to go through everything that normally happens when you give birth.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, let me know. She said you can use cabbage leaves in your brassiere if that is what can help dry up any milk that decides to come. And I'm like, okay, I'm mentally preparing myself for this because I wasn't expecting to go through postpartum so quickly. And my boss texted me that day too and said she was so sorry, but that I only did get 3 days for leave. Because of it being under 20 weeks.
Yeah.
And I said, no. I went to an appointment with my OB later that week and said, I need FMLA because I'm not going back to work.
Please write me a note.
Even they said, you birthed a baby. You get the full 12 weeks. I don't care what they say. 8 to 12 weeks, that's what you get. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad you think so. I'm going to go with what you said.
Yeah.
It was a crazy morning. The funeral director came in.
Okay, so did you guys have somebody that you use for your family, or
no? There's actually just a local funeral home right in the town I live in, and they had 24 hours for calling. So I was like, I'm gonna call them in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I'm sorry to call you, but this just happened. And I called him, and my friend, one of my best friends since I was 2.5, actually helped clean that funeral home. So that's what also gave me the idea. And I'm like, that funeral home, I'm
familiar with
go through them.
Okay, good.
And I trust that their area will be clean for him because my best friend cleans it,
Yeah.
So he came up and I asked him, I said, how much is this going to cost me to cremate my son? He says, honey, there's not going to be a lot there. It's free of charge. When something like this happens, that's the least of your worries right now. And I was so appreciative of that because I was freaking out about that because I'm like, great, I'm going to be out of work. My husband's missing work and he had no PTO. What do we do at this point? And they said they would do it free of charge. My father is a pastor, so he actually did the service for us as well.
Okay.
So that was free of charge too, which was I'm very, very thankful for.
Yes.
Because I was not expecting. I was anxious, worried because I just lost my kid. And then now, oh my God, what am I going to do to plan everything after losing him? And it's the week before Easter and I have a living child.
Oh.
So it was a whole lot of mess. I'm like, how am I going to keep this entire holiday normal for my 1.5-year-old? And we did. One way or another, I said, I'm still a mom to my living child, and I got to be a mom. He's got to be a dad. Yeah. So we kept things as normal as possible for him, and we took him to an Easter egg hunt. We did an Easter egg hunt at my parents' house. We still kept Easter a normal Easter Sunday. Went to church.
All of the things.
We just decided to do his service after Easter.
You did,
so that my living son could have a normal life still and try to keep his life as normalized as it possibly could, because he didn't really understand.
No,
All he understood was there was a baby in mommy's belly. That's all he knew.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. We do kind of remind him every day. We say our prayers and God bless baby brother in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we do. And he's starting to realize what a brother is now that he's 2.5. He's getting there, you know.
But still so young. That's still so young.
He doesn't really understand, but I try to do my best to help him not forget at the same time. Because I know later down the road, he'll ask questions, because especially with us having our tattoos, his memorial corner in our living room with the urn, he's going to ask questions. So I'm trying to tackle it while he's young, so he'll just know.
Yeah, it's just part of your life. He's part of your life. Tell me, I want to talk a little bit about his memorial service. So you guys had it after Easter, which is good. You've taken the time off, which I'm so proud of you. And
it was not easy.
I know. I was going to say it's not easy to ask for those things because there's always policies and all these things. And then, but great for that the nurse practitioner that.
Yeah, she went and told me everything to expect.
Okay.
And I was very lucky. I did have some lactation, but not a lot.
Okay.
It was very minimal, which I had a feeling was going to happen because I had trouble producing for Leroy.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I had a feeling that was going to happen, but I had a feeling I was going to struggle for Sammy when he was eventually born anyways. So I was lucky that there was a little bit of lactation, but not a lot.
Okay.
They told me avoid warm showers, avoid any kind of stimulation, put some cabbage leaves in there. And I was like, okay, I'll do all the works, whatever I got to do.
Yeah, because it is.
And I said, I'm not going back to work until I'm done bleeding. Once I'm done bleeding, then I can go back to work. But I can't mentally go to the bathroom at work and have a complete meltdown.
Yeah.
Especially, I work in a doctor's office. I don't think other patients need to see me like that.
They need somebody that is like, it's going to help them through whatever they're going through. So, yeah. Okay, so then you guys had Easter.
Yep.
I mean, in that week, because tell me again, what day was he born?
He was born on April 13th.
April 13th. And what day of the week was that?
It was a Saturday night. I think. So either a Friday or I think it was Saturday night, maybe.
Okay.
Because my parents had church the next day. Maybe it was Friday night. No, it was Saturday because I would have worked on Friday.
Gotcha.
It was Saturday because we were spending a Saturday at home. So, and then Sunday morning, my parents had to let everybody at church know, and it was kind of odd and uncomfortable for me, but at least I was not there.
Yes. That is helpful not to be, around.
Easter Sunday was the following Sunday.
The week after. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're at home, and I know that you had asked for kind of a, so that entire week you kind of planned his funeral / I mean, obviously you're planning funeral, you're planning Easter, you're planning how to get through this like first little part of postpartum. How did you do all of that? So
with that, my biggest worry was, when are we going to get his ashes back?
Yes.
That was my biggest thing, because I'm like, I want him home with me. Like, part of me was regretting even sending him to get cremated because I really wanted him with me. I was hoping it was like an in and out kind of thing, but that was just not how it goes. They said I was going to get him at the latest by that Friday, which was understandable. It takes time. I get it. And then they said something that worried me too, because we were hoping, okay, when is the urn going to come in the mail too?
Oh,
because we wanted to pick the perfect urn for him. Yeah. And I'll show it a little bit here.
Oh,
just because I have him with me. It's a little Noah's Ark.
You guys, seriously, it's the cutest little thing. It really is so cute. It really is like a tiny little Noah's Ark, and has like animals on the side of it peeking out of windows.
The other side has his name, and then the too beautiful for this earth little quote, and his death birthday, you know. But it was, when's the urn going to get here? When's his ashes going to get here? And I was worried because I'm like, that's when we'll know when we can do the actual service, because I want to do it relatively after we get the ashes and when we get the urn, because I want to just get this over with, you know. I want to be able to move forward. I don't want it to linger anymore. And Nick's family they truck drivers.
Oh, okay.
They own a truck driving business. So it's hard for them to plan when they're not going to be able to drive and when they're going to be here for the service.
Yeah.
So I apologize to them on end. I'm like, I'm sorry. I really don't know. It's going to be a last minute decision. I know it's not easy on your part, but it's what's going to happen because I want it done as soon as I have the ashes, and we don't have any actual answers of when that's going to be.
Yeah.
But I was picking different songs. I'm like, I don't know what to do. How do you plan a funeral for a baby that was born at 18 weeks gestation?
Yeah.
It's something that should never have to happen.
Yeah.
We didn't want a whole lot of people there, but there was a couple from the church that was really close with us that I really wanted there just in case my dad was not emotionally able to speak.
Okay.
Because I knew it would be a harder one for him as well, not just because of the baby, but because it was his grandchild as well.
Exactly.
So we had them. We had my best friend, and then my best friend, since I was 2.5, also came, and her mom, because her mom helped raise me. Mm-hmm. So they were like a second. I was a triplet to the twins that they were. So they came. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, my brother-in-law, they all came. My parents were obviously there, and their close family friend on that side came to support us. We did it. I think it was the Monday or Tuesday after Easter, because we did get his ashes on that Friday.
You did, okay. And what about the urn? Did that go?
The urn came before the ashes.
Okay, good.
It came in the middle of the week, which was nice. I don't remember exactly what day, but when it came, I kept it in the box. I couldn't open it. I couldn't bring it to myself to open it. I'm like, I need it right here by the door. And the funeral director told me, he says, unfortunately, I can't put the ashes in the urn because if I scratch the urn, you might sue me. And I'm like, oh, yes. I'm not going to sue you. Yeah. I can't physically touch his ashes. I can't see them. If I do, it's not mentally good for me. Yeah. I said, please, is there any way? And then he stood his ground. But once he was actually delivering the ashes to my home in person, he said, there's not a lot, honey. I can do it. And I said, thank you. And my mom helped him and held the urn. And I didn't want my mom to see him either. I didn't want any of us to see his ashes because I figured it's too close. We're too close, you know. Yeah. It was very traumatizing for anyone. But my mom's did it. She was the one to hold the urn for him so that he could put the ashes in there. And I thanked her for that. I know it was not an easy thing. And my mom's like, I've done it for other people. I can do it for you too. I understand. Thank you. It was tough. And then the memorial service, we had a family friend watch my 2-year-old for us. Okay. Well, 1.5-year-old at the time, but we had him be watched because I didn't want him there. It was just, he's too young. He doesn't understand. He shouldn't know anything but happiness. You know, he's too little. And then I chose a couple of songs. Nick chose a song, you know, that just kind of reminded us of Sammy and what we were feeling at the time. There is a specific hymn that I can't listen to anymore unless I'm specifically listening specific just for Sammy in my own little sorrow spot, you know. But I did have to, like, I spoke at the funeral, which was not easy. It was only like 8 of us there, but I did say that this isn't necessarily a funeral, but a celebration because he was a person. Whether a lot of people want to believe it or not, because he was under the 20 weeks. He was a person. It was, in my eyes, a stillbirth versus a miscarriage. Because he was fully formed. He had everything about him, you know. Yep. We could see that he was starting to look like his brother, you know. Yeah. So I reminded everybody, it's okay to be sad, but it's okay to be happy and enjoy the fact that he was who he was, too. Yeah. You know. That's him.
That is beautiful. I just think that is wonderful that he's just also had an impact in your life. Obviously, he's part of your family, and
my entire life changed after I had given birth to Sammy. I as a person, have changed. I was always more of a shy person. I never really had any kind of confidence or anything. I was always a back burner person. But after having Sammy, something in me just kind of broke to where I'm a strong person now, and I want to advocate for other parents of loss. I want to tell Sammy's story and help them feel confident in advocating for themselves when they feel like they're not being heard.
Right.
By providers and doctors. I've looked into going back to school so that I can be in that room with other patients when they're going through things that look dangerous like this, so that they can have the confidence to say, hey, this has to happen and you're not doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
I want to help other families.
Seriously, what an impact he's made. I just think that is wonderful. I did want to ask you, Brittany, I know it's been 9 months. What were they able to do about the placenta? Did they say anything specific about the placenta?
Oh, yes. The placenta itself, no, other than the fact that it had all the blood clots on it.
Okay.
And that it was a placental abruption. They are saying. With my postpartum visit with perinatal, because I did a video visit with them just to go over the autopsy, go over my test results, and we did more genetic testing after that one too. It was a whole thing. But they said that it was a placental abruption, but she doesn't know. The perinatal, she kind of like was she was kind of not saying the exact same thing that the guy that delivered, but the guy that was prior on call at the time, she was not on the same page as him at all. She said that she doesn't know if Sammy passing away caused me to go into labor, or if me going to labor caused Sammy to pass away.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
She's like, at this point, we don't know what happened, we won't. Yeah. She said, we won't know what happened. It's unfortunate and we won't know. But the placenta, the blood from Sammy, actually came back positive for a very rare genetic gene, a Q4 change. But she said, if you want, she says, I think this is of no significance to what happened with him, but if you want, we can refer you to genetics. You and your husband can both be tested for this genetic gene. And if one of you comes back positive for it, you're obviously a very functioning human being and it has no significance. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I want answers. I don't care. I'm going to do the genetic testing just to make sure, because in the future, if we ever desired another pregnancy in the future, I want to know what we can do.
Yeah.
And if this genetic change had anything to do with it, we would obviously think more on it. And she said I also had a positive lupus anticoagulant.
Oh.
So they had to test me again to see if I had antiphospholipid syndrome.
Okay, and that also can cause issues.
Placental abruption and issues. So, which we did. And luckily down the road when I retested, because he had to be test like 12 weeks later.
Okay.
It came back negative.
Okay, so
for antiphospholipid. Okay. So that was good. I'm like, okay, so now my husband actually is on board with us possibly in the future deciding to have another baby. Okay. He said if we had antiphospholipid, if I had it, or if the genetic testing came back as a probable cause, we wouldn't have any more children. That's just how it would go.
Okay.
Just because he doesn't want to risk having another issue, which I understand. But at the same time, on the mother's perspective, after having a stillborn, I don't know if other people feel the same way I feel, but I've always felt almost like a yearning, a need. Like I need to be pregnant again because I need to have what I should already have. I need to have that baby.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't know if other moms felt that way, but that's something that I definitely felt. And I felt guilty almost feeling that way.
Yeah.
And even today, like 9 months later, it's still there, and I try to tell myself it's not a safe idea right now, mentally or physically, and you're still grieving your son. You just keep grieving him,
Yes.
But it's something that our minds are just completely differently wired. And then especially if you have a living child, your mind is even more rewired because you feel like extra protective over the living child because you just lost one.
Yep. It is, yes. There's something that it is. I remember having that exact same thought of just, I need a baby. Like,
yeah.
And I didn't I knew I couldn't tell that to my husband because he'd be like, "Are you crazy? You just went through just went through this crazy traumatic thing." No. And so I kept it to myself for a long time until I felt comfortable telling him.
I kept telling him, and he's like, "No." And I'm like, I know we don't need this right now. I know, but it's just what I'm telling you, what my body is telling me, because my body is craving what it should already have.
Yes.
But
Brittany, I was going to ask you about that that genetic mutation, that really rare thing. So did you guys end up getting tested for that then?
Yeah, my husband and I did. So I got tested first because I was just easier. I work in a place where there's a lab. Yep. I just went down on my lunch break, whatever. Took a couple of times before my husband could because he's only off on the weekends, but then he finally did it. And when they called me with the results, I said, "Let me guess, I'm the one with the strange genetic thing going on." And they said, "Well, yeah." So I'm like, okay, at least there's that. And they said, "There's a good chance that your living son has this 4Q change as well." And I'm like, okay. They said, "There's no significance. This is such a rare thing. We don't normally test people for it. When it does come up, it's usually something out of the blue because they're doing other testing."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And they said, "There's no actual characteristics or traits to this genetic anything.
With it. It just is
because it's so rare. We don't know how to pinpoint anything to it."
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. Well, at least it had nothing to do with Sammy passing. And they confirmed, it had nothing to do with his passing.
Okay.
It was just some rare genetic thing that I got going on. He had going on, and there's a chance Leroy has it going on too.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Me and Leroy, we live in perfectly fine with it, so it couldn't have caused an issue for Sammy.
Yeah, that's always good to know, just to kind of rule things out, or just know, what is out there.
Nice to know, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, there's just no more answers still.
Yeah. I know, placentas can cause all sorts of issues, though. They're so important, but they can cause so many issues. But Brittany, thank you so much for sharing Sammy's story. I'm sad that it went the way it did, but I think it's really cool what kind of a impact he's making anyway, for his short little life. Before we close, is there any one last thing that you would like to say about him, that you would like to make sure we know about him?
There's the biggest thing that I just keep hitting on is when people tell me and just assume because he was listed as a miscarriage that he wasn't a baby, that he was just a fetus, which doesn't make it any better, but he is a baby. He had eyes, ears, nose, toes, toenails, fingers, a cute little tushy, everything. He had everything. It freaked me out a lot because his eyes were actually open when he was born, and I couldn't understand why. And that's another thing that makes me lead to believe that he was still alive when I got to the hospital, because I'm like, his eyes are open, so what's going on here? It freaked me out. And then I had the questions of, well, if I close them, am I going to hurt him? I don't know. But I really want it to sink into people's brains that, no matter what gestation you're at, it's a baby. And just because it's under 20 weeks doesn't make it any harder.
No. It is hard regardless. But Brittany, thank you again. Thank you so much for telling his story.
Yeah. Thank you.